When it comes to Amazon arbitrage, you are encouraged most of the time to take advantage of FBA or fulfillment by Amazon. The ability to let Amazon take care of everything from A to Z simply cannot be overlooked. But there can be situations where merchant fulfilled or MF could make sense. We're going to talk about those reasons and then talk about how to do it, and we're starting right now. Hey, what's going on, working class hustlers? My name is Horace, also known as La Machine, and on this channel, we talk about selling on Amazon using the arbitrage business model. So if you're interested in that, please consider subscribing and hit the bell notification so that you can be notified when we upload, which is every Thursday and every Friday. Also, we have on Wednesdays a Jump On It segment where we give away free leads, and we go live on Saturdays, and we spend most of that time sourcing together and giving free leads, and we try to focus on ungated products, so you'll want to do that. Now, let's get right into it, and the first thing we're going to do is talk about some of the reasons why, because before you do merchant fulfilled, you want to talk about why would you want to do it in the first place. And I think I got about 4 reasons. Actually, no, I got 5 reasons. So let's get into it. Reason number 1 is the cost. You got to understand, guys, FBA is great, but it can be considerably cheaper to merchant fulfill, and we're going to look at that together. We're going to compare using the revenue calculator to kind of see. But you have to understand, when you're using FBA and Amazon's doing everything for you, they're doing quite a bit. You're going to pay for that, right? You like to say you get what you pay for, right? Well, now you got to live that. If you want Amazon doing all this stuff for you, you know, you're going to pay a cost for that. So the fees are going to add up pretty quick, and it just depends on where you are in your business. You might be at a point, especially if you are a beginner, and you need to keep as much of that revenue, as much profit as you can keep for now. That's more that you could reinvest. You might want to do a little bit more work and keep some money. Now, you've got to do the calculations yourself. You've got to figure it out. All of the information, the tools are there. So we don't need to speculate. We don't need to argue. We don't need to disagree. We don't really need to have a discussion. Figure it out and make the decision. What I'm saying is whether or not you should do it or not is going to depend on how much money you want to keep based on your calculations. And if you find that you could actually make considerably more, if you can keep a little bit more right now, merchant fulfilling, then you might want to consider that, particularly if you're a beginner. Once you get going pretty good, then yes, automation is the key to really scaling the business. You don't start out trying to scale though. So number 2, you may not be able to send in the product FBA. There are some products they will not allow you to send in. I'm not going to get into all of that, but for whatever reason, it could be hazardous or whatever the case may be. You find a good product you can make a good profit on, you got a choice. Walk away from it because you can't send it in FBA, or go ahead and make that money. In arbitrage, a lot of your deals don't last that long anyway, so take advantage of it. Number 3, I call it the FBA timetable. This is very, very important. Now think about what I'm about to tell you, because in your research at some point you're going to come across a seller who's on a listing both as merchant fulfilled and as FBA, and you might be thinking, okay, why? Here's something to think about. I can't tell you exactly why he's doing it, but here's something to think about, and you might be able to kind of put 2 and 2 together. Okay, let's say, for example, just in this example, you have 30 units of a product, and you decide to send all 30 in FBA. You think, guys, from the moment you put that product on the truck, the inventory is now locked up, okay? Because it's not being sold while it's on the truck in most cases. So it's going to be tied up in transit. Then it's got to be delivered to the particular warehouse. Then it's got to be checked in. Next, the warehouse has to receive it. and then finally the shipment has to be closed, and it really isn't over yet, because once that happens, then Amazon says, oh, you know what, let me send 2 of them over here, 3 of them over there, 7 of them over there, to all these different warehouses. It can take 2 to 3 weeks till everything is completely available. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily the case, but talk to anybody who's been doing Amazon for any length of time, and they will tell you, if you're doing FBA, that's Amazon's game. It gets there when it gets there. It gets inventoried when it gets inventoried. It is available when they declare it's available. That's just how it goes. Now, what if you understood that and you wanted to turn that revenue, because the time that that inventory is locked up, it's not making money. You want to say time is money. So what about the time that that inventory is not being sold? That's costing you money, okay? What if you had 30 units and you decided, okay, I'm going to send 15 in FBA. I'm going to send 15 in merchant fulfill. So while Amazon's doing everything that it wants to do with your inventory, you're still making sales, okay? That might be a reason why you see one person on a listing as both merchant fulfilled and FBA, and you might want to take advantage of it. I have done it and it works. Number 4, expiration dates. Working class hustlers, you know, I do a lot in grocery and gourmet. Expiration dates, they are everywhere with the majority of the products that I sell. So sometimes I find really good deals, but the expiration dates are too tight with all of the FBA timetables that we just talked about. Okay, I got a choice. Walk away from it, or say, you know what, I'll merchant fulfill it. Actually, I'll make more money anyway in most cases if you keep your weights down, and I don't have to walk away from those deals. That's money, okay? And finally, number 5, you guys have heard me rant, rave, preach, flail my arms, because number 5 is the degree of separation between you and your competition, which I really don't like to use that word, because in my opinion, you're really not competing, but hey, it is what it is. There are other sellers out there selling the same products. A choice has to be made, okay? And in this case, what am I talking about with the degree of separation? If you're going to merchant fulfill, that's more work. Do you want to send 10 units of a product in one box to one warehouse? Or do you want to do 10 individual orders to 10 different people, 10 customer service, 10 questions, 10 possible refunds, whatever it may be? Which one would you prefer? You probably would prefer one box, all 10 units, one warehouse, gone. But everybody else is thinking the same way like you. Remember what I say, hustlers. You got people that are like you. They're going to do this business and they're not going to go away. They're not going to somehow give up on it. They're not going to, they've got just as much as you do. So how are you going to separate yourself from them? Because they're just like you. They ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. So what you going to do about it? They ain't going nowhere, but they might be lazy. See, you can do this business and you can be committed and dedicated and never go away and still be lazy. So some people won't, they're not willing to do merchant fulfill, because with all the perseverance and all the stick-to-itiveness and everything else, they just won't do that extra stuff. You'll do it. That's a degree of separation. Okay? So you might do merchant fulfilled just to get a certain degree of separation. For the examples that I mentioned earlier, but you're doing it for the purpose of kind of separating yourself from the other sellers out there. So remember that. Okay, hustler, so what we're going to do now, we're going to take a quick look at 2 examples so that we can compare the difference between merchant fulfilling and FBA by cost, okay? Because we don't want to just talk about it. Let me show you some real life examples. Now you can see these are products that I actually sold, okay? $37.99, $37.99, $37.99. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this product, we're going to take it over to the Fulfillment by Amazon revenue calculator, and we're going to look. Remember, this column is you fulfilling. This is FBA, Amazon fulfilling. So you can see the cost. Now, I went back and looked up this particular product. It cost me $5.70 to ship to the customer. And so when we come down, when we get down to the bottom, because I estimated that it cost about $1 to get it into Amazon, and maybe it didn't. Maybe it was a little bit less, but you can kind of see this was my cost for that particular product. And at the end of the day, we actually made a little bit more money merchant fulfilling. Now, here was the issue with that. Okay, so follow me because there are different scenarios, and I did not mention this was a meltable item, and you can see that shipped during those shipped during a period of time where Amazon would not allow me to send those in FBA. I still shipped them, never got a complaint, so let that be a lesson, okay? We're not going to get into it, but oh my God, I have sent so many meltables. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just telling you what I've done, okay? To just give you an example, and so you can see what was going on there. And then we're going to look at another example. Here we go again. This is a real product that I sold, and you can see $11.99, $12.99, $12.99. All it was a box of Pop-Tarts, okay? So then what we'll do is we'll come over and we'll look at that over here. And now what you can see is it actually, that was a little heavier. That had to ship for 2 pounds. You want to, if you're gonna merchant fulfill, try to keep it below a pound if possible. But you can still make a profit. So here you can see I didn't do so good, right? That $2 difference puts me well above the 20% that I like in terms of return on investment. This is actually margin, but you know, still, even if your margins are 20%, that's still pretty good. So you can see the difference. It does not always work out, and you know how I am. I'm not just going to show you when things work out good, because this is life. Certain products are going to work out better, merchant fulfilled, some are not. But if you have the choice to either lose money, not get into the product, you might want to go ahead and merchant fulfill. And also remember, it could be a situation where you're the only one, or there's just a few. You can see the other guy's stock when you're using your tools. Don't miss out on that revenue. That's something that you have to consider, but I just wanted to present this so that you had an idea of how to make your evaluations. So we're going to move on. Now we're going to get into how to actually do it. How do you go ahead and do merchant fulfill? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move over to my screen here. So just hang tough. Let me get that pulled up for you. And so, as always, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to look at my seller account. And that's very important, guys, because you want to see if I'm someone that you really want to be listening to and following. So look at today's sales. Now, you can see today is September the 6th. The year is 2020. And so far today, we've had 12 sales for $209.40. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but you can see what we've done for the last 15 days, the last week. And if you go 30 days, $17,565.09. And I need my glasses at this point. Let's see now. So, you know what? We'll look at one more thing while we're at it, just to kind of see what I've done for the year. And again, this is just to show you what is possible. Working class hustlers know that I work a regular job. I'm not, you know, some rich guy, but I tell you what, if I've done $139,945.02, and here we are just getting into September, it's probably going to be a good year for me. I may do upwards $200,000. Now that's gross sales. That's not what I get to keep. But that's okay. You can do the math. About 20% after all of my fees and everything I get to keep. And you can see what we did last year. So you can see we're on the rise. Get on board. Become a working class hustler. Guess what? We do this together. So here's what you would do. So let's say you were back here. The first thing you want to do is list a product as merchant fulfilled. So I'm going to show you with a real life example. I'm actually going to show you a product that I sell on a regular basis. Okay, guys, so what you would do, you'd come to add a product. You'd stick in the ASIN. You'd come down. Now, listen, this is a product that I have sold, and it sells really well. I wouldn't want to eat that. It sounds gross. But let's say you were going to sell it. Then what you would do, you would put this as merchant fulfilled right here. I will ship myself. You'd put the price. Then you'd put the quantity. You notice when you do FBA, you put the quantity in when you actually prep the shipment to go into the Amazon warehouse. So you would just go merchant fulfilled here. And then once you put the quantity, you know, whatever you're going to name it, then you would go ahead and click the save and finish. Just, you have to select all this junk. You got to put a price in there. So I'm just throwing a price in there. Then you would go save and finish. And now the product is out there. Now, what's going to happen? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over a few of the things that you need after you list the product merchant fulfilled. You make sure you have the equipment, okay, and your supplies. So you're going to need a scale. You're going to need tape. You're going to need boxes, a printer, paper, labels, and bubble wrap. If you want to see my equipment, watch the next video. We'll put it in the description, and we'll have it probably follow this video, where I got a video on prepping, and pretty much you need the same equipment. So if you want to know what I use, all of that is down in the description. There are links to those products. And then all you do is go into Seller Central. And once you go into Seller Central, you'll print the packing slip, you'll print the label, you'll stick it in a box, you're good to go. So let me show you what that looks like. So once you get in to your orders, you'll be able to toggle between your FBA and your merchant fulfilled products, okay? And so from there, all you need to do is print the packing slip. You need to print the label, box it up, and you're out the door. And the only other thing I would tell you is I use a software called Shipping Easy. Let me show you what that looks like. This is what it looks like. You can actually have a free account. I started out, for the longest, I used a free account. There is a limit to the amount of orders you can ship in a 30-day period. Trust me, it's plenty for you if you're a beginner. If you're not a beginner, the price is very reasonable if you're really kicking out merchant fulfilled, okay? So that's pretty much it, guys. If there's something that I didn't cover, make sure you leave a comment. If there are any questions that I didn't answer, make sure you ask that question in the comments. If you want to connect with me, I am available. So you can text the number that you see on your screen. Text the words Working Class Hustler. I'll respond, get you saved into my contacts. You will be officially connected. And from there, you can ask questions. I have working class hustlers texting me every day with their questions, and I have no problem sharing my time with you. And I'll see you in the next video.